Hello there, my name is Christopher Scott, and I want to give you a brief introduction to the letter to the believers in Thessalonica, Paul's second letter to the believers in Thessalonica. In this video, I want to talk to you about the audience of 2 Thessalonians, the author of the book, the date the book was written. I'm going to give you an outline of the book, a key verse, and a key theme of 2 Thessalonians. So let's go ahead and get started with a brief introduction to the book of 2 Thessalonians. So first of all, the author is the Apostle Paul. We know that from chapter 1, verse 1. It says this letter is from Paul and from Silas and from Timothy. So he was writing this letter along with Silas and Timothy there with him. The audience that Paul was writing to is he was writing to the believers in the city of Thessalonica, and he was writing to them because they were going through some suffering and hardship that they were experiencing because of their faith, but they also were struggling with the return of the Lord and had a little bit of confusion about when Jesus would return, if the day of the Lord had already begun, and they had a little confusion and they needed some clarification on those things. So the audience he's writing to is believers in Thessalonica who were experiencing hardship and suffering, as well as who had some difficulties and struggles with understanding the return of Jesus Christ in the future. The date the book was written is in 52 AD, written by Paul from the city of Corinth. So Paul was in the city of Corinth. You can read about that in Acts chapter 18. And he was there for 18 months in the city of Corinth. And Paul wrote this letter back to the believers in Thessalonica as his second letter he wrote from Corinth, right? So he wrote his first letter probably at the beginning of the 18 months, and then his second letter before the end of the 18 months. So 2 Thessalonians was written about a year after 1 Thessalonians, so 52 AD. And just to give you a little context on that, 52 AD is pretty early in the development of the New Testament. It's a pretty early book to be written in the New Testament. Jesus died and was resurrected in about 30 to 36 AD, right in there. Just give you a little context. The books of Galatians and James were written in 49 and 50 AD. And then 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 51 and 52. Matthew, Mark, and Luke were likely written in the middle 60s AD, so at least 10 years after 2 Thessalonians. The book of John was written in 90 AD, and the last book of the New Testament to be written was the book of Revelation in 95 AD. So 1st Thessalonians and 2nd Thessalonians are pretty early on in the development of the New Testament books of the Bible, and one of the early books to be written, okay? Next, I want to give you an outline for 2 Thessalonians, and I'm adopting this and borrowing it from Warren Wiersbe's commentary, Be Ready, Living in Light of Christ's Return. It's a great commentary, and so I'm using his outline, key verse, and key theme for the last couple parts of this video. They're just really good and really solid information I wanted to pass on to you. So an outline is basically just dividing this book into 3 sections following each chapter, right? Each chapter is a section. The first chapter is encouragement in suffering that they were experiencing. Second chapter is enlightenment in teaching about the return of Christ. And lastly, the third chapter is about enablement in living, for them to live righteously in light of Christ's return and the suffering that they were going through, right? So, encouragement in suffering, enlightenment in teaching, and enablement in living. 2 key verses for the book that Warren Wiersbe gives us is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Which reads, I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Now, dear brothers and sisters, let us clarify some things about the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and how we will be gathered to meet him. Don't be so easily shaken or alarmed by those who say that the day of the Lord has already begun. Don't believe them, even if they claim to have had a spiritual vision, a revelation, or a letter supposedly from us, right? So again, this is this discomfort and this struggle that the believers in Thessalonica had about the return of Christ, and Paul writes this letter to them to help clarify some of those things and to comfort them, okay? And a key theme for the book, according to Warren Wiersbe, is the coming of Christ for the church and the day of the Lord when Christ returns. So I'm going to put links to the Warren Wiersbe commentary down there, as well as the Bible study guide. It is an affiliate link, so if you click on that, I do get a small commission from Amazon, just to let you know. Or you can get the books at your local bookstore. They can probably order them as well. But I just wanted to give those resources to you if you wanted to get them to read the commentary for your own study or to do the Bible study using the Bible study guide. So This is a brief introduction to a short and sweet book, 2 Thessalonians. I hope that it's helpful for you and gives you a little context for the book and that you can read it and study it on your own. My name's Christopher Scott. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, you can subscribe and get updates on future videos up there. If you want to learn to use the Warren Wiersbe Bible Study Guide to study the book of 2 Thessalonians, I got a how-to video up there. If you want other brief 5-minute introductions to books of the Bible, there's some of my most popular videos actually. I got a playlist there of all of them. And then if you want some small group facilitator tips, if you want to lead a small group Bible study, I got some tips over there. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to catch you again soon on another video.